Common right now to find somebody who has paid maybe $60,000 or $65,000 for a very high-end pickup truck. Well, even the average pickup truck now is going to be crossing over that $50,000 barrier.
You've been lied to about trucks, and the truth could cost thousands. Commercials promise toughness, but hidden flaws and collapsing resale are everywhere. Factories are shutting down engines, dealers are drowning, and owners can't escape loans. Which trucks are traps? Why are values plunging faster than expected? And what happens if you're holding one? Stay until the end, because missing this countdown could mean buying the exact pickup destined to wreck your budget and ruin your financial future. Chevrolet Colorado. When shoppers glance across the rows of used pickup trucks at a dealership lot, the Chevrolet Colorado often looks like the perfect blend of affordability and modern practicality. On paper, it feels like a safe bet. Smaller than a full-size, less intimidating than a heavy-duty, yet still able to haul a trailer or load of supplies. It returned to the American market in the middle of the 2010s, riding a wave of enthusiasm for mid-sized trucks. Buyers who did not want the bulk of a Chevrolet Silverado or a Ford F-150 finally had an option that promised capability with easier parking and friendlier fuel costs. But beneath that attractive promise, the Colorado from the years 2015 through 2019 developed a reputation that makes dealers desperate to move them off the lot today. The initial hype around the Colorado was powerful. Chevrolet had paused production of its mid-size pickup earlier in the 2010s, then reintroduced the Colorado as a fresh contender. It came with a choice of a 4-cylinder gasoline engine, a V6 gasoline engine, and later a 2.8-liter Duramax turbo diesel. Brochures showed bold styling, cabin technology that rivaled sedans, and the promise of serious towing power. Advertisements positioned it as a truck for modern life. Take it to the office during the week, haul dirt bikes on Saturday, and pull a camper on Sunday. For a time, the sales figures reflected that optimism, and many households believed they had found the golden middle ground between compact convenience and rugged ability. Unfortunately, the day-to-day ownership experience told a different story. One of the most persistent complaints involved the automatic transmission, particularly the 8-speed units coded internally by General Motors as 8L45 and 8L90. Owners reported a strange shudder or vibration when the truck shifted under light acceleration. Some described it as feeling like driving over rumble strips on a highway. Dealerships tried multiple remedies, such as transmission control module updates and complete fluid flushes with newly formulated lubricants. At first, the fixes seemed to work, but many drivers said the issues returned within a few thousand miles. By the time warranties expired, those simple updates turned into expensive rebuilds or replacements. For a truck marketed as cost-friendly, the idea of a repair bill in the thousands of dollars was devastating. The problems did not stop there. Diesel versions of the Colorado carried complicated emission systems designed to meet environmental standards. Components such as the diesel particulate filter, the exhaust gas recirculation valve, and the diesel exhaust fluid injector became notorious for clogging or failing long before the truck reached high mileage. When that happened, the computer software pushed the vehicle into what owners call limp mode, reducing power dramatically and sometimes leaving drivers crawling along highways at unsafe speeds. Replacement of the entire emissions suite could easily soar into the 5-figure range. That turned what was supposed to be the efficient version of the Colorado into a nightmare of shop visits and mounting costs. For a truck that once symbolized the rebirth of the midsize pickup, the Chevrolet Colorado from 2015 through 2019 ended up carrying the weight of unmet promises. It still looks appealing to a casual shopper. Good styling, plenty of features, and an attractive sticker price. But under the surface, risk outweighs reward. Savvy buyers know to ask about service records, transmission history, and whether major emissions components have been replaced. Without those assurances, the truck that seems like a bargain could quickly turn into a financial trap. And just as the Colorado shows how a comeback story can unravel, the next entry reveals how another supposedly right-sized pickup faced its own struggles despite a wave of patriotic marketing. Let us move one step further down the countdown, where another familiar badge proves that not every return to the American market delivers the victory buyers expect. Ford Ranger. Few vehicles in recent memory have carried as much anticipation as the Ford Ranger when it returned to American showrooms in the year 2019. After nearly a decade of absence in the United States, Ford announced that its midsize pickup was back, promising to blend the strength of the larger Ford F-150 with a more manageable size and improved fuel economy. Customers who remembered the earlier compact Ranger of the 1990s and early 2000s were excited to see a familiar nameplate revived, and younger buyers viewed it as a stylish alternative to bulkier trucks. With bold advertisements highlighting turbocharged power, advanced safety features, and a promise of versatility, the Ford Ranger looked poised to dominate the mid-size segment. Yet reality proved more complicated, and the models produced between 2019 and 2021 quickly developed a reputation that explains why dealers today day struggled to convince buyers to take them home. At the heart of the new Ranger was a 2.3-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine paired with a 10-speed automatic transmission. On paper, this drivetrain seemed like a dream. Impressive horsepower, plenty of torque, and fuel economy numbers that challenged competitors from General Motors and Toyota. Early test drives praised its brisk acceleration compared with naturally aspirated rivals. However, as owners piled on miles, complaints surfaced about jerky transmission shifts, hesitation during highway merging, and sudden lurches when towing. The complex 10-speed gearbox, though technologically advanced, proved sensitive and sometimes unpredictable, especially when software updates failed to smooth the gear changes. For a truck marketed as both efficient and rugged, those inconsistencies undermined confidence. Another sore point came from reliability concerns with electronics and driver assistance technology. Owners reported touchscreens freezing mid-journey, backup cameras cutting out, and warning lights flickering with no obvious cause. Some even experienced issues with adaptive cruise control or lane-keeping systems, leaving them skeptical of the very features advertised as modern safety advancements. Repairs under warranty could take weeks as parts were back-ordered, and when coverage expired, replacement costs ballooned into the thousands. A truck that was supposed to be the practical, no-nonsense choice often left drivers battling the service department more than they had ever expected. Performance in real-world conditions also failed to live up to the marketing hype. While the turbocharged engine provided good power for commuting, towing heavy loads revealed its limitations. Owners attempting to haul boats, campers, or trailers frequently complained of sluggish response, overheating concerns, or fuel economy dropping deep into the single digits. Those who bought the Ranger as a downsized alternative to the Ford F-150 soon realized that capability had been compromised, leaving them questioning the value of their investment. Combined with a higher purchase price than many expected, the Ranger's resale appeal began to fade quickly. The Ford Ranger from 2019 through 2021 reminds us that not every revival succeeds, even when backed by one of America's most trusted brands. Shoppers should approach with caution, demand thorough service records, and test drive carefully to catch transmission quirks. And as we leave behind Ford's mid-size gamble, we turn to another truck that asked buyers to pay more for prestige, but ended up delivering the very same frustrations under a different badge. Before we dive deeper, hit that like button right now. Every click helps push this warning to more drivers who desperately need it. And if you're watching without subscribing, you're risking missing the next truck disaster. Smash subscribe, turn on notifications, and protect your wallet before it's too late. General Motors Company Canyon. Sometimes the trucks that seem like the most polished option on the lot are the ones hiding the biggest disappointments. That is the case with the General Motors Company Canyon from the model years 2015 through 2019. When it first arrived, the Canyon positioned itself as the professional-grade alternative to the Chevrolet Colorado, wearing the same bones but dressed in finer trim, with a bold grille, fancier materials, and a price tag to match. Buyers looking for a mid-size truck that was not too big and not too small often gravitated to the Canyon, believing it offered an extra layer of refinement compared with its Chevrolet sibling. Advertisements highlighted the premium image of the General Motors Company brand, suggesting that Canyon owners were choosing a more distinguished truck. On the surface, the formula looked like a winner. Beneath the shiny chrome and upscale marketing, however, the Canyon carried problems that slowly eroded its reputation and torpedoed its resale value. One of the earliest and most frustrating issues involved the automatic transmissions that General Motors Company installed in these trucks. Many models used the 8-speed units internally known as 8L45 or 8L90. In theory, these gearboxes were designed for smooth shifts and efficiency. In practice, owners complained about jolting gear changes, hesitation during acceleration, and a chronic shudder that felt like driving across rumble strips. Some drivers reported that the truck would vibrate so harshly at highway speeds that passengers asked if something was wrong with the tires. Dealerships attempted fixes, such as complete fluid flushes with new formulas or software reprogramming of the transmission control module. Unfortunately, the relief was often temporary, and by the time warranties expired, many owners faced the possibility of multi-thousand-dollar repairs. For a mid-size pickup promoted as a sensible investment, the threat of a transmission rebuild made the Canyon a risky gamble. Electrical gremlins added insult to injury. The infotainment system, which was supposed to make the truck feel modern and convenient, frequently froze mid-drive. Backup cameras would blink out when drivers needed them most, and dashboard sensors often displayed false warnings. In some cases, power steering modules developed intermittent failures, leaving drivers struggling to control the truck in tight spaces. Such unpredictability is poison in the used truck market, where reliability means everything. Buyers expect a truck to work when called upon, and when a vehicle develops a reputation for random failures, resale prices plummet quickly. Perhaps the cruelest twist of all was the brand premium. Many customers deliberately chose the Canyon over the Chevrolet Colorado, paying extra because they trusted the General Motors Company brand to deliver refinement. What they received instead were the very same mechanical flaws dressed up in nicer trim. Forums filled with frustrated owners telling stories of paying thousands more for the professional grade badge, only to inherit identical problems. Trust eroded quickly, and once that trust disappears, resale values collapse. By the time the calendar turned to the year 2025, used car lots were filled with Canyons from this era, wearing attractive prices but struggling to find takers. Savvy buyers know to tread carefully, aware that the polished exterior hides a history of transmission woes, electrical glitches, and underwhelming performance. Dealers often slash prices and still face slow sales, proof that reputation matters just as much as features. The General Motors Company Canyon from 2015 through 2019 teaches a painful lesson. A premium badge does not guarantee a premium experience, and as discouraging as that sounds, the next truck in this countdown shows how even the nation's best-selling full-size pickup can stumble when plagued by an engine design that leaves thousands of drivers frustrated. Ford F-150. In the long story of American pickups, few names shine as brightly as the Ford F-150. For decades, it has been the sales king, the truck that millions of families, contractors, and farmers trusted to haul, tow, and serve as both workhorse and daily driver. By the middle of the 2000 decade, the F-150 was selling in such staggering volumes that it seemed unstoppable. Yet hidden beneath that crown was a troubling chapter. The models built from the year 2004 through the year 2010, equipped with the 5.4-liter Triton V8 engine, became infamous for mechanical flaws that drained wallets and damaged the brand's hard-won reputation. This period, once expected to cement Ford's dominance, instead produced some of the most complained-about trucks on the used market today. The first major issue centered on spark plugs. The early versions of the Triton V8 used aluminum cylinder heads with insufficient thread depth. Owners discovered, sometimes at highway speeds, that spark plugs could literally blast out of the engine with explosive force. The sound was shocking, the repair was costly, and the trust in the vehicle evaporated instantly. Later design changes were supposed to correct this problem, but the pendulum swung too far the other way. Spark plugs became so tightly fused into the heads that removal was nearly impossible without breaking them. Mechanics often had to use specialized tools or resort to complete head replacements. A simple maintenance job that should have cost a few $100s often ballooned into thousands. Many owners felt betrayed as routine service transformed into a financial crisis. Timing chain and cam phaser failures piled more misery on top. The long timing chain stretched prematurely, throwing the engine's rhythm out of balance. Drivers reported rough idling, rattling noises at startup, and in severe cases, catastrophic valve and piston damage. Cam phasers, designed to adjust valve timing for efficiency, became notorious for their loud knocking and clattering, making the proud V8 sound more like a worn-out farm tractor. Replacing the entire timing set could cost between $4,000 and $6,000, and if valve damage was present, expenses skyrocketed even higher. These repairs often exceeded the resale value of the truck, forcing many owners to abandon them altogether. Adding to the pain, ignition coil failures became a recurring headache. With 8 cylinders under the hood, each requiring its own coil, owners frequently found themselves replacing coil after coil, each costing hundreds. Combined with oil leaks from gaskets, cooling system failures, and a general pattern of expensive fixes, the total cost of ownership turned the supposedly dependable workhorse into a burden. Trucks that should have been pounding nails at job sites instead sat stranded at repair shops or parked in driveways with "for sale" signs that attracted little interest. The Ford F-150, from the years 2004 through 2010, equipped with the 5.4-liter V8 engine, remains a cautionary tale. It proves that even the best-selling truck in America can falter when design flaws outweigh durability. And if you think that lesson is harsh, wait until the countdown moves on, because the next truck shows how the pursuit of fuel-saving technology created a different kind of nightmare that buyers still avoid like the plague. Chevrolet Silverado 1500. Across small towns, job sites, and suburban suburban driveways, the Chevrolet Silverado 1500 has long stood as a symbol of hard work and everyday American grit. Farmers pulled trailers with it, construction crews loaded tools into its bed, and families relied on it for road trips that stretched across the country. By the late 2000 decade, the Silverado was one of the most popular vehicles on the road, often ranking just behind the Ford F-150 in overall sales. Yet, the specific trucks built from the year 2007 through the year 2013 carried a mechanical experiment that promised efficiency, but instead unleashed a wave of frustration. The system was called active fuel management, and for countless owners, it transformed their dependable pickup into a financial anchor dragging them under. The idea behind active fuel management was simple enough in theory. Engineers designed the system to shut down half of the cylinders during light load driving, such as cruising on the highway, in order to save gasoline. On paper, this promised a meaningful bump in miles per gallon. In practice, however, the system introduced an array of mechanical weaknesses. The lifters that controlled the valve operation of the deactivated cylinders were prone to collapsing. When that happened, camshaft lobes began to grind down, and the once smooth V8 turned into a noisy, shuddering mess. Owners often described the dreaded rhythmic tick that echoed from the engine bay, a warning sign that catastrophic damage was looming. The repair costs for the Chevrolet Silverado with active fuel management were staggering, with lifter and camshaft replacements ranging from $3,000 to $7,000, while complete engine replacements often exceeded $15,000. Families who expected reliability instead faced crushing expenses, forcing many to sell at a loss or abandon their trucks. Oil consumption worsened matters, as engines frequently burned a quart every 1,000 miles, causing seizures when owners failed to top off between changes. General Motors introduced oil deflectors, software updates, and warranty patches, yet problems frequently resurfaced after coverage ended, leaving drivers stranded with overwhelming repair bills. Today, dealerships often advertise these model years with suspiciously low prices. Shoppers who know the history tread carefully, aware that even low-mileage examples may hide lurking problems. For a truck line that once symbolized American dependability, the Silverado 1500 from 2007 through 2013 has become a case study in how one flawed piece of technology can undo decades of trust. And just when buyers thought they could escape by paying a premium for an upscale badge, the very next truck in this countdown proves that spending more money does not always buy freedom from the same haunting problems. You've seen how quickly a trusted badge can become a financial trap. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment telling us which truck burned you the worst. Share this with a friend before they buy into disaster. And subscribe today, because the next breakdown might save you thousands tomorrow. General Motors Company Sierra 1500. Prestige, refinement, and professional-grade branding were the promises that the General Motors Company Sierra 1500 carried into showrooms during the late 2000 decade and throughout much of the following decade. Marketed as the upscale sibling of the Chevrolet Silverado, the Sierra offered chrome-heavy styling, premium interiors, and a sense of sophistication that appealed to buyers who wanted a truck that looked as comfortable at a job site as it did in the driveway of a suburban home. From the outside, it appeared to be the perfect blend of rugged utility and luxury comfort. Yet hidden underneath that glossy exterior was the same controversial engineering decision that haunted its Chevrolet counterpart: the introduction of active fuel management, a system that was supposed to save fuel but instead delivered a legacy of ticking noises, expensive repairs, and plummeting resale values. Active fuel management, often abbreviated in technical circles but spelled out here in full for clarity, was an ambitious technology designed to deactivate half of the cylinders in a V8 engine during light load conditions. The idea was that shutting down cylinders on highways or gentle cruises would reduce fuel consumption and appeal to buyers concerned about rising gasoline costs. For the Sierra, equipped with these active fuel management V8s between the years 2007 and 2016, the theory did not translate smoothly into reality. The lifters responsible for controlling the deactivation process often collapsed prematurely. When that happened, camshaft lobes were ground down, producing the infamous rhythmic ticking sound that signaled mechanical failure. The Sierra, marketed as professional grade, suddenly sounded and behaved like a truck in its final days. The financial burden of owning a General Motors Company Sierra with active fuel management was enormous. Repairs for collapsed lifters and damaged camshafts often ranged from $3,000 to $7,000, while full engine replacements soared to $10,000, $12,000, or even $15,000. Buyers who paid premiums for leather seats and upscale trim felt betrayed when the same flaws plagued their trucks. Oil consumption compounded the disaster, with engines burning a quart every 1,000 miles, leading to seized motors. General Motors issued fixes, but failures resurfaced after warranty coverage ended, leaving countless owners stranded and frustrated. The General Motors Company Sierra 1500 from the years 2007 through 2016 serves as a sharp reminder that paying more for a badge does not always secure peace of mind. It showed that luxury trim cannot mask flawed engineering, and that reputation can collapse as quickly as a faulty lifter. And if you thought the Sierra's downfall was costly, the next truck on our list takes financial devastation to an even higher level, showing how a diesel gamble turned into one of the most painful chapters in modern pickup history. Ram 1500 EcoDiesel. Ambition can sometimes lead to breakthroughs, but in the case of the Ram 1500 EcoDiesel, ambition led to one of the most frustrating pickup truck ownership experiences in recent memory. When the model was unveiled in the year 2014, it was promoted as a revolutionary idea, a full-size American pickup with the strength of a diesel engine paired with fuel economy figures that rivaled family sedans. Advertisements proudly claimed that highway ranges could stretch beyond 700 miles on a single tank of fuel, and that drivers could finally enjoy both torque for towing and efficiency for daily commutes. For many households, the EcoDiesel seemed like the future of trucks. By the time the production run ended in the year 2019, however, that dream had soured into a story of engine failures, emissions controversies, and resale values that sank like a stone. At the heart of the EcoDiesel was a 3.0-liter turbocharged V6 engine developed through a partnership with an Italian supplier. On paper, it delivered an impressive 420 pound-feet of torque, a figure that should have made towing horse trailers or hauling equipment an easy task. The engine was paired with an advanced transmission, and the entire package promised smooth performance with better mileage than any gasoline rival in its class. Early adopters were thrilled, reporting 27 miles per gallon on the highway, numbers almost unthinkable for a full-size truck. The excitement was real, and many buyers paid premiums believing they were securing long-term savings at the pump. Reality soon revealed the weaknesses of the Ram EcoDiesel. Timing chain failures emerged with rattling noises and misfires, while oil cooler leaks mixed coolant and oil, causing bearing wear and engine destruction that often required replacements costing well above $15,000. Families who bought the truck to save money instead faced luxury-level repair bills, and many reported weeks stuck at dealerships awaiting overseas parts. Emissions equipment compounded the disaster, with clogged diesel particulate filters, failed exhaust gas recirculation valves, and faulty diesel exhaust fluid injectors, leading to limp mode and costly repairs, while government investigations uncovered deceptive emissions software, sparking recalls and betrayals. The Ram 1500 EcoDiesel from the years 2014 through 2019 proves that promises of fuel savings and cutting-edge technology mean nothing if durability and trust are sacrificed. It serves as a warning to every future truck buyer. Look beyond the marketing, research the long-term costs, and never assume that a respected badge automatically guarantees a safe investment. You've just seen the pickups dealers can't give away, the models sinking families into debt, and the trucks everyone should avoid. Now it's your move. Protect yourself. Drop a comment with your story. Share this video to save a friend from buying a lemon, and hit subscribe so you never miss the next breakdown, because the trucks on tomorrow's list could be the very ones you're eyeing today. Stay smart, stay ahead, stay subscribed.